The prophet Malachi lived about 100 years after the Israelites had returned from their Babylonian exile. His message was directed to the people who had been living in Jerusalem for some time. The temple had been rebuilt long ago, but things were not going well. Just remember the stories from Ezra and Nehemiah. When the Israelites first returned from exile, their hopes were high. They believed they would rebuild their lives and the temple, and that all the great promises of the prophets would come true. They expected the Messiah to come, to set up God's kingdom over a unified Israel and the nations, and to bring justice and peace for all. But that is not what happened. The Israelites who repopulated the city proved to be just as unfaithful to God as their ancestors, resulting in poverty and injustice. In the book of Malachi, we see just how corrupt this new generation had become. The book is structured as a series of disputes. Most sections begin with God making a statement, either a claim or an accusation. Then Israel responds with disagreement or a question, and finally God replies with the last word. This pattern happens 6 times. In the first 3 disputes, God exposes Israel's corruption. In the final 3, he confronts it. The overall impression from these arguments is that the exile did not fundamentally change the people. Israel's hearts remain as hard as ever. The first dispute begins with God declaring his continued love for his covenant people, despite their failures. Israel rudely objects. "How have you shown us any love?" God responds by reminding them that he graciously chose the family of Jacob, their ancestor, to carry his covenant promises, instead of Jacob's brother Esau, whose descendants eventually came to ruin. See Genesis and the book of Obadiah. From the very first dispute, Israel is revealed as suspicious, doubting God's love and faithfulness. The second dispute centers on Israel's second temple. God accuses the people of despising and defiling it. They respond, "How have we despised you?" God points to their shamefully lame offerings, sick and blemished animals that show they do not honor or value him. But it's not just the people, it's the priests as well. They tolerate and even participate in this corrupt worship. From top to bottom, God's people have proven faithless. In the third dispute, God accuses the Israelite men of treachery, both against him and their wives. The men deny it. God exposes the toxic mix of idolatry and divorce. Israelite men were marrying non-Israelite women and adopting their gods into their homes. Remember Nehemiah chapter 13. Malachi links this behavior to a wave of unjust divorces. The people don't see a problem, but Malachi declares, "This is a betrayal of your covenant with God." In the fourth dispute, the people accuse God of neglect. Where is the God of justice? They see injustice and corruption everywhere, and God seems inactive. God responds, he will send a messenger to prepare the way for his personal return on the day of the Lord. He will come like fire to purify his people and purge idolatry, sexual immorality, and injustice, leaving only a faithful remnant. In the fifth dispute, God calls the people to return to him. They ask, "How can we return?" God accuses them of selfishness. They have stopped offering their tithes, 1/10 of their income and produce, required to support the temple and its priests. This practice is outlined in the Torah. From Malachi and Nehemiah, we know the people were neglecting this, and the temple was falling into disrepair. God says he wants to bless them, but only if they will be faithful. In the final dispute, the people accuse God. It's pointless to serve him. They see wicked, prideful people succeeding in life, while God does nothing. This time, God doesn't answer with a speech. Instead, we're told a short story about a faithful remnant in Israel, those who fear the Lord. They meet together and speak of honoring him. God commands that a scroll of remembrance be written for them so they can recall his character and promises. Here, Malachi reflects on the divine gift of Scripture, how it reminds us of God's past deeds to inspire present faithfulness and future hope. The book ends by expanding on the imagery of the day of the Lord from the fourth dispute. God declares he has appointed a day of purifying judgment that will consume the wicked from among his people. But for the faithful remnant, this day is not a threat. It's a promise. It will be like the rays of the rising sun, bringing healing, life, and hope for the future. The final 3 verses act as an epilogue, not just for Malachi, but for the entire collection of the Torah and the prophets. First, the reader is urged to remember the law of my servant Moses. This points back to the covenant laws found in the first 5 books of the Bible. Then a prophecy is given. I will send the prophet Elijah before the day of the Lord. He will restore the hearts of God's people. This summarizes the message of the prophets and points forward to a future. Israel was redeemed by God, but betrayed him through rebellion and hard-heartedness. Yet, the scriptures anticipate a day when God will send a new Moses, a new Elijah, to restore his people and heal their hearts. See the promises in Deuteronomy, Jeremiah, and Ezekiel. This concluding vision presents the scriptures as a divine gift, meant to be read, pondered, and prayed over. They tell the truth about human sin and selfishness, but also proclaim the hope that one day God will send a messenger and then show up personally to confront evil, restore his people, and bring his healing justice. That future hope is what Malachi, the Torah, and all of the prophets are ultimately about.